Hey everyone, welcome back. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. We're diving into some pretty complex stuff today. Global trade inflation and the impacts of, well, some recent policy decisions.
Yeah, a lot to unpack for sure. I mean, even looking at the US stock futures this morning, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some indices slightly up, others down. Investors trying to figure out what it all means. What are the implications of these tariff announcements from President Trump?
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame them, right?
Yeah.
Especially after last week. The markets dipped when those initial tariffs on China were announced.
Exactly. And then over the weekend, even more fuel to the fire. He's declaring a 25% tariff on all steel and all aluminum imports. That's a big deal.
Huge. And it's not just about China, right?
Yeah.
This affects allies too. Big exporters like Canada and Mexico.
Oh, absolutely. And the ripple effects. I mean, this could set off a whole trade war.
That's the worry, isn't it?
Yep.
A full-blown trade war. And who's going to be hit the hardest? And
Yeah.
how are they going to retaliate? That all feeds back to us. It impacts what we pay for everything.
Yeah. The prices of everyday goods could really be affected. And then there's the inflation question. Experts are saying these tariffs could lead to even more inflation. I mean, ultimately, U.S. importers are paying for those.
Yeah, hitting everyone right in the wallet. And we've got that U.S. inflation data coming out soon, too. Definitely something to watch. But switching gears a bit, President Trump also revealed an investigation into U.S. Treasury debt payments.
Yeah, he's suggesting there could be fraud. It'll be interesting to see what they uncover there. Could affect government borrowing in the future. He even hinted that the debt itself, the actual amount, might be lower than what's been reported.
That's something to keep an eye on, for sure. And then meanwhile, across the world, you've got China dealing with its own economic situation. Consumer inflation actually went up there in January.
Yeah, likely driven by Lunar New Year spending. But their factory prices, different story. Those are going down, actually, which some are taking as a sign of potential deflation in that industrial sector. So they're dealing with a lot internally while also responding to all these trade moves from President Trump.
A real balancing act. And this all has global implications too, of course. Speaking of global reactions, investors are looking for safer places to put their money amidst all this uncertainty. Gold prices, they're soaring, hitting record highs.
Shows you how investors are feeling right now, seeking stability, looking for something that feels secure. Oil prices, too. After 3 weeks of going down, they're starting to show signs of recovery.
Interesting. What's behind that?
Well, there are a few things at play. U.S. crude stockpiles are one factor, and of course, those trade tensions we've been talking about, it's all connected. This complex interplay of global forces.
So just to sum up, we've got tariffs potentially triggering a trade war, concerns about rising inflation, this surprising investigation into U.S. debt, and China's internal economic struggles playing out on the world stage.
It's a lot to process. Really highlights how interconnected things are. The global economy, what happens in one place can have a huge impact somewhere else. It's a delicate balance.
For sure. And something we all need to understand better, how these things can impact our own finances and the global economy as a whole.
Absolutely. I mean, this move by President Trump imposing those tariffs on steel and aluminum, it sent shockwaves through the markets. A bold move, for sure. And it's drawing criticism.
Yeah. Some are saying this is going to hurt American businesses and consumers. Prices will go up, supply chains get disrupted.
Right. And then the fear of a trade war. That could really damage the global economy.
But on the other hand, there are those who support these tariffs. They say it's necessary to protect American jobs and industries.
Right. It's about competition, making sure things are fair. They point to the struggles of the steel and aluminum industries, saying these tariffs will help level the playing field. It's a debate with strong arguments on both sides. We'll have to see what the long-term impact is. But there's no question these tariffs are a major development with global repercussions.
Definitely. Now let's shift back to China for a minute. The economic data there is giving us a mixed picture. Consumer inflation went up in January, but those factory prices keep dropping, signaling possible deflation in the industrial sector.
It seems like China's economy might be slowing down, not growing as fast as it was. And that has implications for the rest of the world. I mean, they're a huge consumer of goods and services.
Right. Underscores how interconnected we all are. Major shifts in one country can have a ripple effect across the globe.
Exactly. And speaking of ripple effects, look at the price of gold. It's skyrocketing. Investors are clearly nervous, looking for safety and stability amidst all this uncertainty about trade wars and economic slowdowns.
Gold has always been seen as a safe haven asset, right? When times are tough, people turn to gold.
Exactly. And it's interesting to see how it's playing out right now. It's not just gold, though. Oil prices are recovering too after a period of decline.
Yeah, what's driving that?
Well, it's a complex picture. You've got global demand increasing, you've got concerns about potential supply disruptions, and then there's the whole geopolitical situation. Lots of factors at play.
Right. The global energy market is always fascinating. Lots of moving parts. Definitely something we'll need to keep a close eye on.
For sure. It's all about staying informed and adapting. The global economy is constantly changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And these changes can have a real impact on our personal finances. It's important for people to understand what's happening and how it might affect their own decisions, whether it's investing, planning for retirement, or just making smart choices about spending.
Definitely. Knowledge is power. The more we understand about the economy, the better choices we can make.
Now let's turn our attention to another development. President Trump's investigation into U.S. Treasury debt payments. He is alleging potential fraud.
Yeah, this has raised some eyebrows. Some experts are questioning the validity of the investigation, while others are worried about the potential impact on the U.S. economy.
It's a situation with the potential to shake things up. We'll be following it closely to see how it develops.
Definitely. Transparency and accountability are essential. And this investigation could have far-reaching consequences for how the U.S. manages its debt. It's a significant development.
For sure. And it brings us back to the U.S. stock market. Yeah. Investors are trying to make sense of everything that's happening, all these different factors.
It's a roller coaster ride. Staying informed is key. We'll be watching closely to see how the market reacts to President Trump's tariff announcements, the ongoing trade tensions, and of course, the upcoming release of all that important economic data. It's a reminder that the financial markets are in constant motion, reflecting global events and investor sentiment as they unfold. It's a lot to keep track of. And staying informed is crucial. The market's reaction to these tariff announcements, all the trade tensions, and then those key economic numbers coming out. Yeah, we'll be watching all of that closely.
It's a constant reminder the financial markets are always moving and shifting, reacting to what's happening globally and how investors are feeling.
Feels like we're at a turning point. And remember, in his first term, President Trump did impose tariffs on steel and aluminum, but then he gave exemptions to some allies. Right, so this new round is basically taking away those exemptions, and that has the potential to escalate things even further. This trade war, it's a shift in strategy for sure, and one that could have big implications for trade relationships globally and the stability of the economy.
A shift indeed. And speaking of shifts, it's interesting to see how investors are feeling about gold right now.
Oh yeah, the price of gold is surging. It's fascinating to watch all this uncertainty around trade and the economy, and investors are looking for something safe.
Gold has always been seen as a safe haven. When things are volatile, people turn to gold. It's a store of value, historically.
Right, and it's playing out right in front of us. It's not just gold, though. Oil prices are on the rise, too, after going down for a while.
Yeah, what's driving that rebound?
Well, it's complicated as always. Global demand is up. There are worries about supply disruptions. And then you can't forget about the geopolitical factors. It all plays a role.
Right. The global energy market is always in flux. Lots of different things influencing it. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on that.
Absolutely. It's important to stay informed and be ready to adapt. The global economy is never standing still.
And these changes can affect us all personally,
Mm.
our own finances. It's crucial for people to understand how global events can impact their own decisions. Investing, retirement planning, even just day-to-day spending.
Yeah, for sure. Knowledge is power. The more you know about the economy, the better equipped you are to make good decisions.
Exactly. Now let's talk about another development. President Trump's investigation into U.S. Treasury debt payments. He's alleging fraud.
Yeah, that's got people talking. Some experts are skeptical, questioning the validity of the investigation. Others are more worried about the potential impact on the U.S. economy.
It's definitely a situation with the potential to cause some disruption. We'll be keeping a close eye on how it unfolds.
Absolutely. Transparency and accountability are crucial. And this investigation could have significant consequences for how the U.S. manages its debt. It's a big deal.
Agreed. And it brings us back to the U.S. stock market. Investors are trying to figure it all out, all these different things happening at once.
It's a roller coaster. The ups and downs. Staying informed is key. We'll be watching to see how the market reacts to the tariffs, to the trade tensions, and of course to all that economic data that's coming out. The financial markets are a reflection of everything that's going on globally and how investors feel about it all. They're constantly in motion.
It's a lot to digest, but it's so important to stay informed and really engage with these issues.
Couldn't agree more. The more we understand what's happening, the better decisions we can make, both for ourselves and hopefully for the global economy as a whole.
Right. It's a good reminder that we're all in this together. What happens in one part of the world can have a ripple effect everywhere else. Our choices matter.
They really do. So yeah, let's all keep learning and growing and working towards a more informed and equitable world.
Well said. Thanks for joining us today for this look at the complex world of global economics and finance.
My pleasure. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.